All right, so buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into a day that sent shockwaves through the AI world.
January 23rd, 2025.
Yep, mark it in your calendars, folks, because this was a day packed with everything from presidential shakeups to groundbreaking discoveries.
Definitely a lot to unpack.
Absolutely, and we've got a whole mountain of sources to sift through: tech news sites, AI research publications, even some spicy social media commentary.
Yeah, we're talking about those heated Twitter threads.
Exactly. So we'll be tackling some big questions today. Like, did Trump really try to control the ideology of AI?
Interesting way to put it.
Could AI actually double our lifespans?
I mean, stranger things have happened, right?
True enough. And what happened when one of the most popular AI tools went kaput and the internet basically lost its mind?
Oh, yeah, that was a wild one.
So let's get right into it. The biggest story of the day, no doubt, was Trump signing that executive order on AI, aiming to put America firmly in the lead for AI development.
Right, very much a Make America Great Again approach to artificial intelligence.
Exactly. But it also called for AI to be free from ideological biases. And that little phrase caused quite a stir,
To say the least.
because it meant overturning some of the big AI policies from the Biden administration, specifically the ones about safety and oversight.
Yeah, the previous administration had put a lot of emphasis on things like mandatory information sharing about those powerful AI models and rules to stop bias in government AI tools.
So agencies had to prove their AI tools weren't doing any harm before actually using them.
Exactly. It was all about minimizing potential harm and making sure AI was used ethically.
So essentially, Trump's orders shifted gears from regulation to putting the pedal to the metal for innovation.
Full speed ahead, no brakes.
Right, which obviously sparked a massive debate. Some experts were ringing the alarm bells about potential risks,
Especially to safety and individual rights.
while others saw it as like ripping off the shackles, unleashing American ingenuity.
There was even talk about woke AI making the rounds.
Oh yeah, that term definitely got thrown around a lot,
Yeah.
especially by certain tech figures.
Elon Musk, to name one.
Yeah, him. And this whole thing really brought the whole issue of government oversight of AI into the spotlight.
Big time. I mean, how much control should the government have? Where do you draw the line between fostering innovation and preventing potential harm?
Tough questions. Now, there was some interesting expert commentary on this whole issue of regulation. Hamid Ekbia, he's the director of the Autonomous Systems Policy Institute at Syracuse University.
Right. He expressed some pretty serious concerns about scrapping those Biden-era AI policies,
Yeah, he was worried it would put the U.S. behind the curve when it comes to AI regulation.
especially compared to what's happening in Europe with their AI Act.
That's a good point. I mean, the U.S. and the EU often take very different approaches to tech regulation.
For sure. And ECPIA also raised the issue of patent shelving, where companies sit on innovations instead of letting them out into the wild.
To stifle competition?
Yeah, pretty much. And he argued that smart regulation could actually be the key to unlocking genuine AI progress.
Interesting take. So basically, regulations as a catalyst for innovation rather than a roadblock.
Exactly. Now, another voice in the mix was Anthony Cook from Microsoft. He's been a big advocate for responsible AI development for years.
Right. He's all about building AI systems that are safe, transparent, and accountable.
Exactly. He didn't really take sides in the whole Trump versus Biden thing, but he emphasized that strong AI governance is crucial no matter who's in charge.
Sensible approach.
Yeah.
So the takeaway here is that the battle lines are being drawn when it comes to AI. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about who gets to control it and how it's used.
Absolutely. And stakes are only getting higher. Now, while we're on the topic of Trump shaking things up, he also signed another executive order that day, but this one focused on something completely different: cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah, the crypto world went a little crazy that day too.
It did. This executive order aimed to, well, basically make America the king of the crypto castle.
Ambitious goal, but it sounds very on brand for him.
Definitely. The order had a few main points: creating some kind of regulatory framework for digital assets.
Which, let's be honest, the crypto world desperately needs.
True. It also talked about exploring a national cryptocurrency reserve.
Wow, a national crypto reserve? That's a bold move.
And then there was the part about banning central bank digital currencies.
So basically taking a stand against government-backed digital currency.
Yep. Now, reactions to this order were all over the map.
I bet. Crypto enthusiasts are a passionate bunch.
Understatement of the year. Some were thrilled, seeing it as a huge win for innovation and a sign that the U.S. was finally taking crypto seriously.
But others were disappointed. Some hardcore Bitcoin fans felt the order didn't go far enough in supporting their favorite digital gold.
Right. There was a lot of, what about Bitcoin
Yeah.
chatter online?
Makes sense. Bitcoin maximalists can be a bit, well,
You
maximalists.
put it mildly. But, whatever your stance on crypto, there's no denying that Trump's executive order sent a clear message. The U.S. is not ignoring the crypto revolution.
Right, they're either going to lead it or try to control it. But enough about politics and crypto for now. Let's move on to something a bit more optimistic.
Sounds good to me.
This one comes from Google DeepMind. Remember them?
The AI powerhouse behind AlphaFold and all those groundbreaking projects.
Exactly. Well, Demis Hassabis, the CEO, announced that they're expecting to have AI-designed drugs entering clinical trials later this year.
Huge news. This has the potential to totally revolutionize drug discovery. We're talking faster development, lower costs, and potentially way higher success rates.
This is where AI gets really exciting, in my opinion. Tell me more about how AI is shaking up the world of medicine.
So imagine this. No more waiting a decade for new drugs to hit the market. AI could cut that time down to weeks or months.
That's insane. Think about what that means for people suffering from diseases that currently have no effective treatments.
Right. And it's not just about speed. AI can also help make drug development way more efficient, which means more affordable medications for everyone.
So how does it actually work? Can AI really design effective drugs?
Well, Google DeepMind spun off a company called Isomorphic Labs specifically to tackle this problem.
So they're going all in on this AI-powered drug discovery thing.
Absolutely. They're basically using AI to understand how drugs interact with the human body at a molecular level.
And then use that knowledge to create new drugs.
Precisely. Now, if you need proof that AI can actually do this,
Huh.
look no further than AlphaFold.
Right, the AI that cracked the protein folding problem.
Exactly. That was a massive breakthrough, and understanding protein structures is absolutely crucial for developing new drugs.
So AI is basically giving scientists a superpower when it comes to understanding the building blocks of life.
That's a great way to put it. And this breakthrough even got praise from a Nobel laureate, Ardem Patapuchin. He called it a once-in-a-generation advance.
Wow, high praise indeed. So while some people might be wringing their hands about the potential dangers of AI, it's also showing us that it can be a force for good, especially in healthcare.
Absolutely. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. AI is being used in all sorts of medical applications, from diagnostics to personalized treatment plans.
It really feels like we're on the cusp of a revolution in healthcare, and AI is leading the charge. But hold on tight, because things are about to get even wilder.
Oh, yeah. What happened next?
On that very same day, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, another big player in the AI game, dropped a bombshell prediction. He said that AI could double human lifespans within the next 5 to 10 years.
Whoa, hold on a second. Double our lifespans. That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
You know, right? But Amodei isn't some random internet cook. This guy is a serious AI researcher.
True, he's got the credentials. But even so, that's a pretty bold claim.
Well, his argument is that AI will supercharge biological research. We'll be able to understand and treat aging like never before.
I mean, if you can crack the aging code, you're basically talking about immortality.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, not everyone's buying into this prediction. There's a lot of healthy skepticism out there.
Understandably so. But even if we take it with a grain of salt, it highlights the sheer potential of AI to transform our understanding of human biology.
And maybe even push the boundaries of what we consider possible. So we've gone from AI potentially messing with political ideologies to AI that could make us live twice as long. January 23rd was a wild ride for AI news. What else happened on this crazy day?
Well, OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT, launched something called Operator.
Operator. What's that?
It's an AI agent designed to handle all those tedious online tasks that we all hate.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Well,
Tell me more.
Imagine this. You're browsing the web, and you need to fill out a long, complicated form. Instead of doing it yourself, you tell Operator to do it.
And it just takes care of it.
Yep. It can interact with websites, understand their layouts, even type and click like a human user.
So it's basically a super efficient digital assistant. Sign me up. I can think of a million things I'd rather be doing than filling out forms online.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining our lives and giving us more time to focus on the things that matter.
Now that's what I call progress. But wait, isn't there a downside to this? Are we really okay with giving an AI access to our personal information and online accounts?
That's a valid concern. Privacy and security are paramount. OpenAI and other companies working on this kind of tech will need to address those concerns head on.
Makes sense. It's all about finding the right balance between convenience and protecting our data.
Absolutely. But speaking of AI having a bad day,
Oh, you're talking about the ChatGPT meltdown.
that's the one. On that same day, ChatGPT experienced a major outage. Seems there were some issues with its API.
I bet people were freaking out. We rely on these AI tools so much, it's scary to think what happens when they suddenly disappear. What was the reaction like?
Social media went nuts. You had people venting their frustration, some expressing concern, and others just making jokes about how dependent we've become on an AI chatbot.
It's like we've all become addicted to ChatGPT.
In a way, yeah. And it highlighted how vulnerable these AI systems can be, even the ones we think are super advanced.
And also how much we rely on them for our daily lives.
Exactly. It's a wake-up call. We need to make sure these AI systems are robust and reliable because we're becoming increasingly dependent on them.
So in a single day, we saw AI become a political football, a potential fountain of youth, a super efficient assistant, and then a stark reminder that even the smartest tech can have a meltdown.
That pretty much sums it up. January 23rd, 2025 was a day that captured both the incredible promise and the very real challenges of the AI revolution.
And we're just getting started.
Oh yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
No doubt. But before we get too lost in the future, let's rewind back to one of those mind-blowing predictions we were talking about earlier.
You mean the whole AI doubling human lifespans thing?
That's the one. It's hard to even wrap my head around what a world with people living for 150 years would look like.
Right. Think about it, though, the possibilities, but also the challenges. I mean, everything would have to change.
Everything. Retirement, education. I mean, if you're going to live for a century and a half, you might need a couple of career changes along the way, right?
Exactly. And what about resources? Population density. We're talking about massive ethical and logistical questions that we'd need to figure out.
It's almost overwhelming to think about. But maybe that's the point, right? AI is forcing us to confront these huge existential questions in a way we never have before.
Absolutely. And while Amodei's prediction might sound like something out of Star Trek, it's based on the very real progress we're seeing in AI-driven biology.
Right, like AlphaFold being able to predict protein structures.
Exactly. That's a fundamental building block of life, and AI is cracking the code.
So maybe living to 150 isn't so crazy after all. But even if we don't all become centenarians, AI is already making a huge impact in healthcare. We talked about those AI-designed drugs heading for clinical trials.
Right, and that could be a total game changer for how we develop and use treatments. Faster drug discovery means getting those new therapies to people who need them, like yesterday.
And hopefully more affordable meds, too. Drug development is notoriously expensive, so if AI can make it more efficient, well, that can make a huge difference for people all over the world.
It's not just about speed and cost, though AI could also lead to more personalized medicine, treatments tailored to your specific genes and lifestyle.
That sounds amazing. It's like having healthcare that's actually designed just for you.
Yeah.
But okay, let's shift gears for a minute and talk about OpenAI's operator. I'm still trying to grasp what it can actually do.
Think of it as an AI agent that can interact with websites and do things on your behalf, like a super-powered version of those chatbots you see on customer service pages.
So instead of me having to click through a million menus and fill out endless forms, Operator can do all that for me.
Exactly. Imagine you want to book a flight or order groceries or even pay your bills.
Mm.
Operator can understand web interfaces, click buttons, even type text based on what you tell it to do.
It's like having a personal assistant who lives inside your computer. That's amazing. I'm starting to see why this is such a big deal. But what about privacy? I mean, are we really comfortable giving an AI that much access to our personal info and online accounts?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's something that OpenAI and any company working on this type of AI will need to address head-on. Transparency and user control over their data are going to be absolutely key.
It's a tough balance, right?
Yeah,
We want the convenience, but we don't want to sacrifice our privacy.
absolutely. It's a tightrope walk. And speaking of AI and potential downsides, remember that ChatGPT meltdown we talked
Oh,
about?
yeah, when I went offline.
That was a pretty good reminder that even the most advanced AI systems can be vulnerable.
Exactly. And it really highlighted how much we're starting to depend on AI, which brings us back to something we touched on earlier, the potential for AI bias and the whole debate around Trump's executive order.
Yeah, that free from ideological bias statement was definitely controversial, and honestly, it's not even clear what that means in the context of AI. It's a complicated issue. On one hand, we don't want AI systems perpetuating harmful stereotypes or discriminating against certain groups of people.
But who decides what's biased and what's not? It feels like a really slippery slope.
It is, and that's what makes it so tricky. If we're not careful, attempts to remove bias from AI could end up leading to censorship or suppressing certain points of view.
It's like playing whack-a-mole with bias. You get rid of one form of it and another one pops up somewhere else.
Exactly. It's an ongoing challenge. And it highlights the need for open discussions and collaboration between AI developers, policymakers, and the public. We need to figure out how to build AI systems that are both fair and representative of the diversity of human thought and experience.
That sounds like a tall order. Where do we even start?
It starts with recognizing that AI is a reflection of us, our values, and biases. As AI systems become more integrated into our lives, we need to be more mindful of the data we feed them, the algorithms we design, and the decisions we delegate to them.
It's almost like we need a whole new field of study AI ethics.
It's emerging as a critical area of research and discussion. And it's not just academics talking about it. Companies like Microsoft are putting a big emphasis on responsible AI development, focusing on transparency, accountability, and fairness.
So it's not all doom and gloom. It seems like there's a growing awareness of the potential risks of AI and a real willingness to address them.
There is. It's still early days, but I'm cautiously optimistic. The fact that we're having these conversations now is a good sign. We're starting to think critically about the implications of AI before it's too late.
Well, I'm glad we're having this conversation now. This deep dive has been quite a journey, from political controversies to mind-blowing possibilities, and even a few cautionary tales along the way.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Executive orders, life extension predictions, AI agents, even a ChatGPT meltdown. And one thing's become clear. AI isn't some futuristic concept anymore. It's here. It's evolving fast. And it's already shaping our world in profound ways.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it all crammed into one day. It really shows how fast the world of AI is changing.
Yeah, no kidding. It definitely highlights the need for us to keep talking about all this and really thinking it through as AI keeps evolving.
It is interesting how we started with a political move, Trump's executive order, and ended up talking about AI potentially doubling our lifespans. It's a pretty wild range.
Yeah, it really is. It shows how AI is popping up everywhere now. It's not just tucked away in research labs or science fiction anymore. It's affecting everything: government, policy, healthcare, even our daily lives.
And as we saw with that whole ChatGPT meltdown, even something as simple as an AI chatbot going offline can cause chaos.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a big reminder that the more we rely on AI, the more important it is to make sure these systems are rock solid, reliable, and can handle anything.
So where do we go from here? What's the big takeaway for our listeners from this whirlwind tour of January 23rd, 2025?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the future of AI isn't something that's just happening to us. It's something we're actively shaping by the choices we make, the investments we make, and how we engage with these technologies.
That's a powerful point. So what can our listeners actually do to be a part of this shaping process?
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay involved. Ask questions. Don't just accept things at face value, and demand transparency from the people who are developing and using AI.
It's like we've been saying all along. AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. The important thing is to use it wisely, use it responsibly, and never forget the human factor.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's the perfect way to wrap things up.
I think so too. So to our listeners, thanks for coming along with us on this journey back to a pretty pivotal day in AI history. As AI keeps developing, we hope you'll keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep working towards the future you want to see.
Until next time, stay curious.